My name is Jacob Morgan, the author of The Employee Experience Advantage, and you are listening to Paycom's HR Break Room.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to HR Break Room, the podcast dedicated to having quick conversations on the hot topics in HR and HR technology, one cup of coffee at a time. I'm Caleb Masters.
And sitting in for Chelsea Justice, I'm Braden Fair. As always, HR Break Room is the podcast helping you discover how far your workforce can go. Caleb, what's on tap for today's episode?
Today, we'll kick off 2018 by talking with Lee Stringer, the best-selling author of the book, The Healthy Workplace, and we'll be talking with her about the hot wellness and ergonomics trends we can expect to see in 2018. Lee will talk with us about the rising investment in mental wellness programs and how they relate to the growing millennial workforce. And she'll also talk about the important role physical space plays in creating a healthy, productive work environment and how sustaining a great wellness program starts with changing your organization's culture.
What a way to kick off 2018, and it sounds like Lee has a talk full of great information and actionable advice in store for us.
Absolutely, Braden. I think we're looking at 2018. We just started the new year. I'm sure HR personnel are just like me and you. We've got New Year's resolutions we're thinking about. I'm wanting to drop, about 10 pounds off the scale and eat a little bit healthier this year.
Yeah, I love the phrase new year, new me, and I'm sure that a lot of organizations are probably approaching that as well. According to Workplace Wellness Trends, a 2017 survey results report, among employers that are offering and measuring their wellness efforts, more than half have found a decrease in absenteeism, 63% are experiencing financial sustainability and growth in their organization, and then 66% reported increased productivity, and then 67% said employees are more satisfied overall.
I mean, it sounds like at this point, why not at least consider looking at new wellness initiatives or new wellness programs within your organization? And, this is not something that just benefits the organization. Also, like you said, leads to employee satisfaction, because I actually ran across a stat the other day from United Healthcare that states that 70% of employees are interested in taking proactive steps to improve their health.
I'm sure Lee has great examples on what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. I can't wait to talk with her more. Do you want to go ahead and take a step into the break room to find out what she has to say on the subject?
Let's do it.
It is always great to be back in HR Break Room, especially for the new year, Braden. And I'm really excited about today's guest. Can you introduce us today?
Of course, Caleb. Lee Stringer is a workplace strategy expert and researcher whose work has been covered recently by BBC News, The Globe and Mail, Fortune, CNN, and Good Morning America. She works for EYP, an architecture and engineering firm, and services clients including Google, Under Armour, LG, Johnson & Johnson, Ernst & Young, and the architect of the U.S. Capitol. She is the author of 2 best-selling books, including The Healthy Workplace, How to Improve the Well-Being of Your Employees, and Boost Your Company's Bottom Line. Lee, welcome to HR Break Room.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, by the way. First show of the year. We're real happy to have you on.
Happy New Year to everybody else. It's going to be a good year.
As with the new year, it seems like New Year's resolutions and trying to take steps to get healthier always seems to be front and center of everyone's minds. And I think that rings true for a lot of organizations around the country. So I just wanted to kick our conversation off today by asking the question, what are some new wellness strategies that you saw last year in 2017 that are actually gaining even more traction as we head further into 2018?
Well, the big one that's top of mind for me and a lot of my clients is mental health. Really taking care of mental health. It's something that, has kind of been undercover or not brought to the forefront for, a long time, if ever. And it really is emerging. It is so important. All this talk about mindfulness and meditation and yoga and talking about that in the same conversation we're talking about work would have seemed crazy just a couple of years ago, but it really is taking off. And there's so much evidence around the productivity that comes from the stillness of your mind and the quieting of your mind, given stress and all the rest. So I think that one is for sure going to continue, it grow exponentially as we learn more about the human mind and what we can do to calm it and keep it at its most productive best.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue into my next question for you, Lee, and we're talking about this newfound emphasis on mental health. How is this perception and the emphasis on mental maybe an emotional wellness shifted as millennials have become the largest working group in today's workforce?
It is. It's funny. One of my colleagues was mentioning a study. I need to get my hands on it, where she was shocked. We do a lot of work with higher education in my design firm, and so we're obviously paying attention to what students want, and then what happens, when they how to best prepare them for the workforce. And one of the big stats that came out was something like 70% of students come into college with anxiety issues. They come in stressed out to begin with. And then they leave even more stressed, I assume, because they've been working so hard at school. And a lot of colleges are really addressing that head on and looking at how to present mental health in a way that doesn't have any stigma and is part of the suite of services that they offer students and faculty and staff, everybody else. And of course, those students are now, or those millennials are now fully in the workforce, the last of them really entering. And we're seeing this stigma of mental health going away, much more so than it had been, as I was just mentioning. But also the fact that they expect to see an addressing of mental health and physical health and emotional health and financial health. All these things need to be part of the package that we're offering them.